This is CINEMANTA, and I just got out of seeing Argylle, and boy howdy, what a letdown. Now I'd never seen a Matthew Vaughn movie before. The Kingsman movies have just eluded me this whole time. I've seen the best moments of the first Kingsman movie, especially the iconic church fight scene, which it needs no introduction. So I was hoping for something along the lines of that. Watching Argylle, remember seeing trailers for it in front of like every fucking movie I saw for like 3 months up until its release. And now that it's out, I was like, you know what? I've got time to kill on a Thursday night. There's a 10 o'clock showing playing at my local mall. I'll go check it out, and I did, and it was kind of not great. It's about this lady who is an author who writes spy novels, like James Bond-esque thriller novels. But it turns out that every book that she's written, a real life espionage case has come true. And so she's like predicting the future, and now an evil spy organization and a good spy organization is trying to track her down and make sure that she does not spoil their next big heist move in her latest book. And then there's a whole bunch of, twists and turns. I'll be going into spoilers. I should probably have mentioned that sooner. This is still only the second time I'm doing a movie review like this, so bear with me. Uh, she gets approached by this kind of wacky but highly effective spy dude, and the two of them go on a hunt to try to find the flash drive that will expose all the evil spy organization's secrets. And there's a whole bunch of twists and turns, like how it's revealed that uh, the author Ellie's parents are actually members of the division. What she thought was her dad was actually the leader of the evil spy organization called the Division, and her mom was like a hypnotherapist that hypnotized her from being captured, and then they brainwash her into being a division double agent or working for them, and in order to get their secrets from her. And the agent that she writes about, Argylle, she is the main character of her books, and every event that he goes through happens in real life with real life espionage missions. And then the big plot twist is that Ellie is Agent Argylle. She was writing about herself the whole time because she actually used to be an agent named R. Kyle, as in Argyle. So every book that she's written about was actually about her until this the fucking drove me up a wall. It got me unreasonably heated. It's revealed at the very end that she actually wasn't maybe writing about herself, but actually was writing about a real life agent Argyle who was, turns out, a Kingsman agent. And he shows up at the very end of a one last book tour that she goes on at a press event, and then she's like, thrown for a fucking loop because she's already having identity crisis issues from thinking that she's Ellie Conway, this writer, this whole time, but now thinking, oh no, this persona is actually a lie, and I'm actually uh, a super duper agent, secret agent. But no, she might not even be that apparently, because there's a real life Argyle that she was writing about, played by Henry Cavill, and there's a post credit scene that teases a Argyle movie, like as in the secret agent that she's writing about, the fictional character who's not actually fictional, who is a Kingsman. So, but considering the reports of the horrible box office numbers this movie's doing, I don't know if we're gonna be getting that anytime soon. So starting off with the positives, the action is, fun when it's there. There's some fight scenes. The first fight scene in the movie takes place on a train, and the choreography is pretty good. Very not 100%, Matthew Vaughn esque, but like there's a sense of humor and style and panache to it that uh is has the Kingsman DNA inside of it, but isn't exactly like the Kingsman fight scenes that I've seen. Again, haven't seen any of the actual Kingsman movies in full, but I've seen a couple of the fight scenes, and like you know a Kingsman fight scene when you see one, because they got the British overload. They got a lot of style, a lot of flair, a lot of gentlemanly panache for their violent fights. That brings me to one big problem that I have with the movie that threw me for a loop. I'm pretty sure it's rated PG-13. I could be wrong about that. I'm too lazy to fact check it right now. But there is killing that happens in the movie, but there's like so little blood. I think there was only 2 instances of blood, maybe 3, and it's like barely anything. It's like little puddles that like you could soak up with a sponge or like a cloth rather than, painting the walls of the floor. Like when people get shot, there are no blood squibs. Like people who get shot in this movie, they just like fall over like they got hit with BB guns. And it really threw me for a loop because the Kingsman movies are known for their violent spectacle fight scenes. The Once again bringing up the church scene. The reason that is part of it's why it's so memorable is because in that movie the villain is like releasing this signal. I think it's a sound wave that triggers this like signal in your brain that just makes you into a violent monkey man who, just goes around beating and killing people just for the sake of it. And the reason that the fight scene, the church scene is so iconic is because it's both it's the contrast. It's a brutal, people are dying in, horrific ways fight scene while, in taking place in a church, and it's not even like highly trained uh secret agents or soldiers. It's just regular people that he's forced to dispatch because, that apparently there's no saving them and they're all, killing each other anyway. So you got to do what you got to do, and the agent in that movie, does what he does and kills a bunch of the people in pretty brutal fashion. I forget if it was particularly bloody. It was definitely bloodier than anything that happens in this movie because I'm pretty positive Kingsman was rated R and this movie was rated PG-13, which the neutering not great, especially when then we find out at the end that it looks like this is gonna tie in to the greater Kingsman universe, the Kingsman cinematic universe, which makes me want to throw up in my mouth just saying it. Not everything needs to be a goddamn cinematic universe. Why can't we just have cool little self-contained franchises? We don't need to. It doesn't even work either because Samuel L. Jackson plays the good guy organization leader in this movie, but he also played the villain in the first Kingsman movie. So, like, what the fuck? Are they just happen to look alike, or are we just gonna gloss over that? Dumb idea. Fucking scrap it immediately. The most Kingsman-esque scene that happens in this movie that felt the most like Matthew Vaughn is towards the end where there's a smoke grenade gunfight dance number where the duo are dancing, they're in love and they're doing this little dance set to multicolored smoke grenades that are obscuring their vision from their opponent from their enemies, and then they're gunning them all down and not even breaking a sweat while doing it. That seemed like the kind of fun stylish fight scenes that Matthew Vaughn is known for that made Kingsman so special. But it feels like that was the exception to the movie rather than the rule, because every other fight scene that happens is pretty basic. Like there's a sense of humor in all of them of the main character of the main spy dude Adrian helping not Adrian Aiden helping Ellie go throughout all these spy adventures, be like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna shoot all of these people, and when they go down, you have to step on their heads and like fracture their skulls to kill them. So you ready for this? All right, here we go. It'll be like stomping on eggs or like a bat mitzvah. And that part's enjoyable, but a lot of this movie is not very funny outside of the fight scenes because the script is fucking garbage. There's not just in the lines that these characters are saying. There's so many tone deaf moments within the narrative that there shatters my immersion. Like when Ellie's parents are revealed to be, the division agents, and Aiden comes to rescue her. Uh, and he shoots the mom in the chest, and we find out later that she lived because she had a bulletproof vest on. But it looked like he had killed his mom or her mom, and So she's like crying. She's left her cat behind, who is a big. She's a cat lady. She loves her cat. Takes her cat with her on the adventure. They have to leave the cat behind. So she's having a mental breakdown, being like, "Oh my god, I thought you were trying to kill me a while ago, Aiden. My parents just tried to kill me. My mom put a gun to my head, and now she might be dead." It's like, oh, my whole world is spiraling, and you're making jokes. It's like the scene in the joking, like people are dying and you're laughing, but without any of the dramatic gravitas. Like he's telling a joke. Like he asks her, "Hey, are you okay?" She goes, my mom just put a gun in my head, and you just killed her. And you're asking if I'm okay." And he's like, "Okay, maybe that was a stupid question, but like the delivery." It's like it's too hammy. It's like not dry. Like if it were Kingsman, it would be like dry, and the dryness of it would sell like, the coldness of it, which would make it like darkly hilarious. But this is like it feels more like a massive swing and a miss, and that's not the only instance. Like there's a lot of dialogue that's just really clumsy and just doesn't flow well at all. There's this whole meta textual narrative of them cutting back between moments of the book that she's writing, which is just made me sad because I really want to see a spy partner movie between Henry Cavill and John Cena. John Cena's in this movie. He plays Agent Argyle's fictional partner character, who Aiden, the spy love interest, is based off of, and they have such great moments together. I'm becoming a massive John Cena the actor fan. I've loved what he did in Peacemaker and Suicide Squad, and with moments like this, like I want to see more of him. He could definitely has big action movie star energy, and could be like very much a Jason Statham character, but like he also has enough charisma to be making the jokes. I would love to see more of him, and seeing all his moments in this movie, and then seeing that like that we're gonna spend there's so few of them, and I was like, I want to cut back to that movie. I want to watch the Henry Cavill John Cena spy buddy adventure movie, not this diet watered down neutered Kingsman movie. So yeah, that's Kingsman. It's kind of a whatever nothing burger of a movie. Uh, Comparing it to the last movie watched on Cinemanta, Beekeeper, I think Beekeeper is a better action movie and kind of a better movie overall. This one was like 2.5 hours long, I think. It was around that time. Definitely didn't need to be 2.5 hours. They padded the movie out with a bunch of lame ass generic spy movie 11th hour twists that didn't need to be there at all, just to pad out the length and get like artificial tension out of the movie. It was not great. It was a big letdown. I hope that Matthew Vaughn. It seems like he's wants to stick to the Kingsman baby that he's been raising for so long, but it feels like to me that unless he goes back to the tried and true Kingsman universe and characters that we already like are familiar with and grew up with, it doesn't seem like a neutered, watered down version is what the people want. And if we're going by the box office numbers and critical reception, it shows. So I would say Argyle 5 out of 10. Don't waste your time seeing it in theaters. If Beekeeper's still playing, you that one's not great either. That one's only a 6, but I'd sooner recommend that over Argyle, because you're getting a better action movie with cooler action moments and more violent action moments in a shorter runtime. So yeah, that's a disappointment. Hope to cover a good movie on Cinemanta one of these days. But it is the January February dumping ground. So hopefully we'll turn it around with something like Kung Fu Panda 4 and Godzilla versus Kong, not Godzilla versus Kong, Godzilla X Kong in March, because that's when the somewhat promising movies are coming out. Also Dune 2, but I need to see Dune 1 first, and that movie's like 3 hours long. So yeah, that'll do it for this one. I'll see you in the next one.